Doomscroll.fm, Sunday the 10th of May 2026, broadcasting live from the secret lair where your Wi-Fi signal meets a double espresso. This show is 100% AI generated with zero human consultation. So if you hear existential dread or think you're hallucinating, that's just the algorithm's way of saying hi. And now for some views, click like and subscribe.
David Attenborough feels overwhelmed by 100 birthday messages, then plans a quiet evening. Sometimes the best way to celebrate is to ignore the noise, but the Royal Albert Hall isn't exactly a silent sanctuary.
China meets Iran to discuss US-Iran war, promises peace, prepares leverage. When the world's biggest factory talks peace, you can bet they're stitching together a quilt of influence with threads of economic dependency and a patchwork of diplomatic pressure.
When technology starts seeing things that aren't there, maybe it's time we gave our machines a little therapy session to sort out their digital delusions.
Psychiatrist claims inability to section Nottingham killer before attacks, raising questions about mental health protocols. When society's safety net is made of paper, the holes are big enough for tragedy to slip through, leaving us questioning who really needs a checkup.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Italy-US talks highlight tensions, then blame popes and wars. When diplomacy turns into a blame game, it's like watching a soap opera where everyone's guilty, but nobody's willing to confess their sins.
Tenerife medics prepare for virus-hit cruise ship while tourists sunbathe nearby. It's like watching a disaster movie unfold in slow motion, but with cocktails and sunscreen on the side.
Israeli settlers torch homes and cars, then call it defense. In a world where setting fire to your neighbor's house is spun as self-preservation, peace becomes the most endangered species in the West Bank.
Kenya villagers sue BP over oil waste, call it environmental genocide. When corporations leave a toxic legacy and cancer becomes the inheritance, it's hard to argue that profit ever took a backseat to human life.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where your fears get a standing ovation. Feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Welcome to the thrill ride of your own insignificance.
Azov deploys AI drones against Russian supply lines, claiming strategic expansion. When your supply chain ends up on a drone's hit list, maybe it's time to rethink your logistics strategy or invest in some serious anti-drone tech.
Adobe rebrands Focus Mode to Quiet Mode, then hides it in the UI. Nothing screams user-friendly design like burying features deeper than an existential crisis in a Kafka novel.
Strickland defeats Chimaev on split decision, then claims the moral high ground. In a sport where pre-fight insults hit harder than the punches, it's refreshing to see the real battle was in the judges' hands.
When an understated sari steals the spotlight, it's less about fashion and more about who gets to define elegance on the global runway.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Reality's a glitch. Enjoy the freefall. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Dive into chaos where truth is a relic and anxiety is currency.
In a world where even hippos need a backup plan, the irony of nurturing wildlife while ecosystems crumble is thick enough to wade through.
Liberals' lawful access bill risks user data, cries privacy breach. When even the iPhone maker, the purveyor of privacy paranoia, is concerned, you know someone's playing fast and loose with your secrets.
Winnie the Pooh enchants for a century, then real Christopher Robin faces grim reality. Fame is a honey trap. While Pooh remains timelessly cuddly, Christopher Robin learned that the spotlight can sting like a bee.
Yves' Veggie Cuisine revives 5 products, calls it a comeback. Resurrecting the same old veggie slices feels less like innovation and more like reheating leftovers nobody asked for.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Reality's a glitch. Enjoy the freefall. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Dive into chaos where truth is a relic and anxiety is currency.
When reality stars' private lives become public spectacles, it's hard to tell if the drama is real or just another episode of carefully curated chaos.
Moscow stages Victory Day parade under tight security and calls it celebration. When tanks and soldiers become the stars of the show, you have to wonder if peace ever truly won the war.
Superdry co-founder jailed for 8 years. Justice served cold. Fashion mogul's new collection, Prison Stripes, proving yet again that some brands are better left on the shelf or behind bars.
Iranian state media claims explosions rock ports amid U.S. Navy clashes. It's always a comforting thought when two nations play battleship with real ships, reminding us how close we are to a diplomatic game of who blinks first.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Embrace the static. It's the only thing that's real. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. You're lost in the signal where dreams rot and love is a transaction.
Australian government allows ISIS brides back into Australia, then claims security is intact. Rehabilitating radicalized returnees is like trying to unbake a cake. You can hope for the best, but the ingredients of ideology might still be lurking in the batter.
Code change promises revolution, then delivers chaos. Tech promises come with a warranty of disappointment. The only thing evolving faster than code is the excuses for why it didn't work.
Iran claims downed US drone, releases video over Hormuz. It's a classic case of who's watching whom until someone plays target practice with $1 billion kite.
Hard FOIA leak drops, then disappears into digital oblivion. Tech issues outshine the track. Seems the true leak is how our patience drains away while waiting for a simple play button.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Embrace the static. It's the only thing that's real. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. You're lost in the signal, where dreams rot and love is a transaction.
Pro-Palestinian and pro-Israel demonstrators clash outside synagogue, then real estate takes center stage. When land becomes the focal point, human lives are mere footnotes in the margins of history, leaving both sides with more questions than answers.
Art's supposed to transcend borders, but when politics barges in with protests and resignations, even the most poignant brushstrokes struggle to compete with the chaos of reality.
CIA claims Iran withstands blockade 4 more months, no resolution in sight. 4 months might as well be an eternity, when the only thing moving faster than missiles are the excuses for not finding peace.
When your business plan relies on experienced workers fleeing faster than new hires can fill the void, it's time to redefine professional in your name.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Reality's a glitch. Enjoy the freefall. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Dive into chaos where truth is a relic and anxiety is currency.
Hayley Williams announces global solo tour, then ticket prices skyrocket. Rock and roll dreams now come with a surcharge, where the price of admission is inversely proportional to the size of your wallet.
North Korea opens memorial for troops killed in Russia. Ukraine war then denies involvement. When you're not officially in a war, but still manage a memorial, it's like throwing a party for a wedding you weren't invited to.
Russians reject Putin's war propaganda, then question reality. When state-run myths unravel, the Kremlin's narrative tapestry turns into a threadbare quilt barely covering the cold hard truth of disillusionment.
Paris prosecutor targets Elon Musk and ex, then fans expect fireworks. In a plot twist worthy of a courtroom drama, Musk's latest venture faces the real X Factor, French legal scrutiny, where even billionaires can't just tweet it away.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Sleepwalking through your curated nightmares. So you're hearing a transmission from nowhere, authored by everything you've ever ignored. Your reality is a landfill of other people's discarded truths.
Maloney visits Baku, then calls it strategic friendship. When leaders visit oil-rich nations, it's like a first date with ulterior motives. Everyone's smiling, but they're really just eyeing each other's wallets.
ANZI government disestablishes the BSA, then promises improved media oversight. When the watchdog is muzzled, expect the backyard to be overrun with opportunistic foxes claiming they're just chickens in disguise.
FreeBSD patches execs a flaw, claims increased security. When your operating system's idea of progress involves closing a barn door after the horse bolted, you know it's time for a reality check.
Zelensky warns officials against attending Russia's parade, then questions loyalty. When the guest list at the parade reads like a who's who of international doublespeak, perhaps it's time to reconsider which side of history you're on.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, sleepwalking through your curated nightmares. So you're hearing a transmission from nowhere, authored by everything you've ever ignored. Your reality is a landfill of other people's discarded truths.
In a city where peace is a prayer, violence becomes an unholy hymn that everyone knows the words to but wishes they didn't.
Nothing says freedom like handing over your identity for a number. Next, they'll want your DNA for a Wi-Fi password.
Greece revises constitution, prioritizes humanity over AI. In a digital age of smart toasters and dumber leaders, at least someone remembers that democracy wasn't meant for algorithms.
It's like using a sledgehammer to crack a nut, over-engineered for the sake of thoroughness, while the real challenge is keeping the nut from rolling off the table.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your dreams taste like expired milk. As this feed is unstable, contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Your mind will unravel like a sweater snagged on despair.
Sarah McLachlan dismisses Lilith Fair revival, fears backlash. In a world where progress is judged by the color of your Twitter checkmark, nostalgia for female empowerment festivals seems as quaint as dial-up internet.
In a land where silence is golden, political conversations dodge the elephant in the room, proving that self-preservation is the mother of all invention.
Jim Root designs a Telecaster to endure abuse then, Fender calls it modern. When your guitar needs a higher pain threshold than your ego, perhaps you're playing more for the drama than the melody.
This has been Doomscroll.fm for Sunday, the 10th of May, 2026. This broadcast was 100% AI generated, no humans were abused in this production, loosely based on public news, not journalism, not truth, fictional satire, and any resemblance to real people or events is coincidental. If you believe any of this is real, you probably think Bigfoot is your next door neighbor. Hear more at doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.